Hello and welcome everyone. We'll be starting in 2 minutes. I see you're joining, so I think we can start. We are ready. Welcome to ULAW mini lecture series. I'm your host today, Guru Karakapıcı, one of the community managers and a part of the GAS International Business Development Marketing Department, where we make sure all the latest updates and exciting news from GAS institutions are delivered to our global network of partners, to all of you. We are here today to learn and talk more about the employment promise that the ULAW presents. Thank you for taking time to join us today. And if you have any questions during the session, please feel free to send those through chat or through Q&A section. We will make sure to cover them all at the end of the session. So today we are joined by a seasoned professional, Ben Osborne, Employability Business Development Manager. Ben, thank you for accepting to co-host this session and giving us more depth on ULAW and the UK opportunities. Please take the lead.
Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you very much for that warm introduction. And hello from a very sunny Birmingham, which is in the middle of the UK. So yeah, my name is Ben Osborne. I'm the Employability Business Development Manager for the University of ULAW Business School. Essentially what that means is that my role, along with my team, is around partnerships and external facing for the University of Business School, working with organisations to open up opportunities for our current students and obviously potential students coming through. I'm here today to talk around the employment promise though. So the employment promise is our commitment as a university to students who come in to the university. It's been extremely successful and popular with previous students that have come on board, and equally we hope it'll be attractive to students that you may be potentially talking to or currently students that are listening to. So let's get into it. Can I get the next slide, please? So quite simply, what is the employment promise? I'm not going to read the screen out for you. I'm sure you can read what's on the screen, but ultimately, this is our promise to you as an institute around supporting you in developing your career. So ultimately, you come into the university to study, whether that's on an undergraduate or a postgraduate offering, and it allows us to work with you, with the employability team, and also the business school and the university and various other factors within our institute in giving you the best steps and the best possible platform to move forward in your chosen career. Now, sometimes what happens, and there are hurdles, and I've been through hurdles in my career, and I'm sure people sat on this call have been through hurdles as well. It doesn't always go to plan. So what we promise is that if you come to the university and study, and you haven't got qualifying employment after 9 months of finishing your chosen course, then you are potentially able to claim 50% of your fee, i.e. your fee which is going towards university, and then the remaining 50% of fees back towards another University of ULAW Business School course, or equally a ULAW course if you wish to look into that. Qualifying employment basically means a graduate job, one that such obviously leads to one which is a role or similar. Now, we just don't give that away for free for obvious reasons. You have to be a good student. Ultimately, we only want good students coming to the University of ULAW Business School. Students who are going to apply themselves, students who are really going to add value to the university, as we give a lot back to that university as well. You must have passed your, sorry, the slides dotted there. You must have passed your exams first time. Sorry, can we just go back a couple of the slides have moved on. That's it, thank you. You must have passed your exams first time, have an 80% attendance record, and have actively looked and worked for work and used our support. So ultimately, what we're offering here is the opportunity to study across the UK with multiple campuses at a top institute, to benefit from hugely successful individuals that are based within the organisation, to tap into a rich resource, to tap into various other elements that go with the university. If you're a good student and you apply yourself, you pass your exams, you turn up on time, you are actively looking for that role that you really want, and you've used our support and all the support that we offer, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get the job that you want ultimately. And that's what we want. We want students to come in to work hard. We want students to come in and really progress. And we want students to take the next step in their career, wherever that might be. But the safety net, or the element around this for a student coming into ULBS, University of Law Business School, is that if it doesn't work out, and as I said, there can be hurdles, and we're not naive about that. There are elements to sometimes not always getting that job, if you wish. Then this is a safety net for you. This ultimately allows you as a student to come in, to study hard, to work hard, and to do everything that we ask you to do, and have that support. And if it doesn't go to plan, this is something which obviously then allows you to come back to us and say, look, I've done everything that you've asked me to do and more. I've really tried hard, but ultimately I haven't succeeded in what I wanted to do. This is our promise to you as a student. Next slide, please. So what is the employment promise? Ultimately, the employment promise is, as I said, is an offer from us to you as a student. Any student that is within the University of Law Business School is included, whether you're international, whether you're part-time, UK-based, online students, you're all part of what is on offer, which is the employment promise to you. We have specific resources in place for all of these types of students, whether that is part-time, online, or international students. A huge cohort at the moment across our campuses in the UK are international students. We have dedicated platforms, so online platforms that are here to support students that wish to stay in the UK and ultimately look for work and obviously go on to work in the UK, or equally have come to the UK to study and then have gone back home to wherever they potentially are from. So Thailand, Pakistan, India, America, etc. We have specific UK/international platforms that support our students when they go home. For example, if a student comes to the UK to study for 12 months on a postgraduate, then decides to go back home to carry on their further career, there's a platform in place which enables that student to get up-to-date information while they're studying in the UK around what's hot from a trend perspective in their home country, say India. That enables that student to then seriously look at roles which are based in their home country, while equally living and studying in the UK. We compare our international jobs when evaluating the qualifying employment. These platforms give us the insight to understand what a graduate position is. It gives us local market intel, which my team are involved with, but it also gives the students the intel. So it gives the students the intel of what is hot within their current industry/country, or equally in the UK, and equally what a graduate job looks like. So whether that's a manager, director, senior, etc. It can all vary from country to country, but ultimately a graduate position in our eyes is similar in the sense of that it has to be something of a professional manner, which elevates you as an individual and as a student to the next level. Next slide, please. Okay, so I get asked this question quite a lot. My boss, who's Director of Employability, was in the original format when this was in the University of Law side, and now been brought through into the University of Law Business School. Does it ever pay out? Yeah, it does. We don't shy away from that fact, because ultimately, things don't always go to plan. Yeah, I said this before, those hurdles, yeah, everybody faces them. There's things that don't always go to plan for you as students or equally through your career paths. So has it paid out? Yes. Has it paid out every year? Yes. Are the numbers huge? No. Numbers are small because we're that confident in what we can offer, and equally what we have within our resources here to enable you to make those decisions and those correct decisions, that we're confident that you're going to go on and take your next steps. But has it paid out? Yes, it has paid out. And we're very honest and transparent about that. We're also proud to say it has been paid out because that's what it's here for. It's here to support students. It's here to make sure they make those decisions, and equally step through to where they want to go. Now, there is some similarities though to the people who we have paid out, and typically those students that we have paid the employment promise to are usually the ones that are good students, are usually the ones that are always trying and willing to listen to what we're telling them, and equally trying innovative and different ways to and approaching. But sometimes they just haven't always got it right, and sometimes they haven't always got it potentially where they want it to be. There's an element around this as well called scattergunning, which is a UK term, which is scattergunning your CV to hundreds and hundreds of jobs, and ultimately flooding the market. Before I was in higher education, I was a recruiter, and this is quite a common practice for some individuals to literally scattergun the market with their CV. What happens there is you decreditize yourself, i.e., people don't take you seriously. So what we do with that instance or those students is work with them in a more structured approach. But the students who do come through and have been paid out may have just panicked and gone through that scattergun approach, but then we'll continue to work with them. Even as an alumni of the university, you have 3 years plus to be able to tap into the resources, the career/employability department. So even if you have gone through this process and we have paid out to you, you can still come back and talk to us. You can still understand what's going on from a market or a trend perspective, or maybe it's down to your CV advice. Maybe you want help building that CV around a particular job. That's all on offer for you as a student of ULBS. So we have paid out, yeah. We don't not shy away from that fact, but ultimately as well, we are proud to say that we have paid out, but we're also proud to say that we've helped so far more many people get where their chosen careers want them to go than actually to pay out from the employment promise. Next slide, please.
And let me say this 3+ year opportunity as an alumni sounds amazing, seriously. And I don't think
So there's a
many of the universities have that opportunity.
So there's a common thread in the UK from higher education that students can tap back into the university. It's very uncommon though that after 12 months of a student leaving, that they decide to turn around and ask the university for help. Ironically though, the university is always plugged into career trends, X, Y, and Z industries. So it baffles me sometimes when you speak to alumni that are struggling or potentially haven't thought about coming back to the university and asking questions. So many people as I said, I'm very lucky I get to travel across the UK, but I'm sat in the middle of Birmingham today, in the middle of the UK. And there's a huge amount of people here that are just happy to help. They just want to help people potentially from a question perspective or a CV perspective, etc. I can't give too much away at the moment. There's an element around other things for alumni to be part of the university for a longer term as well. So yeah, it is.
That is really precious. That is really precious.
It's really good. So anyway, so the employment promise is a genuine offer. We will pay out to those who meet the criteria. We're extremely confident in making this offer because of what we have to our disposal, our resources, our expertise. So as I said earlier on, I'm not from a higher education background up until 5 years ago. And our lecturers, our careers consultants, key senior figures within the university have all had careers before, which I think is invaluable. I think giving insight into a business, an industry, and then taking that into higher education is extremely important, because ultimately you understand where that student's going. So I understand, I studied at university, I went out and did 20 years within sales and recruitment, and have moved into higher education. So I understand what it takes to do what I did. I understand how that can affect people. And that transcends back into the university as well. There's a huge amount of support on offer, combined with the resources and the platforms that the students can actually get in. And this then goes to committed students. I personally, and I'm quite honest and open about this, only want committed students at University of Law Business School. Yeah, I don't want freeloaders. Yeah, I know that sounds harsh, and I'm supposed to be here selling or promoting, sorry. Yeah, but ultimately, we don't want people coming to ULBS to have a free ride. Yeah, we want students to come to work hard. If they work hard, we'll work hard with them. Yeah, if they want to put everything in, we'll put everything back and more. But please don't push across that we are coming to the university just to get your money back. It doesn't work like that. If you come to the university, you have to put 100% in, because ultimately the staff and the resources and people that who are here give exactly that back. And we want committed students to do that. We want students to come in, enjoy their time, yeah, enjoy everything that is on offer from ULBS, enjoy the cities that they're living in, but equally tap into the rich resources that we have to offer, and the invaluable support that you would get within that. One of them being the employment promise if things didn't go to plan as they move forward. Next slide, please. So the employment promise is one part of the university. Ultimately, there's a huge amount on offer before you even get to that stage, or potentially that stage of looking into the employment promise. It's the safety net. It's the element that coming into the University of Law Business School enables you to really start motoring through what you want to do from a careers perspective. So if you are a student coming in who's studying a postgraduate, as the example, postgraduate in finance and accounting. I was in London last week talking to some PG students around ways to drum up interest on their CV and etc. And we were talking various other bits and pieces. The employability service as a whole is unique within University of Law Business School in the UK. It is built into every module within your first semester at the University of Law Business School, something called the professional development module. I don't know of any other university that does this through the employability. So whether you like it or not, you will see my face at some point, face to face in a classroom, telling you what you need to hear in a real world scenario. So what that means is you get us, the employability team, in a classroom talking to you about your CV, your networking skills, your presentational skills, your LinkedIn profile, your social media presence, and a huge amount of other areas that we delve into to give you confidence outside of the academic world to start thinking about what you want to do after your 12 months. Or if you're on an undergraduate course, what you're going to do in 2-3 years' time. This is unique. Yeah, it's extremely popular. It's extremely fast-paced. There's a huge amount of information we go through, but ultimately it enables you to have those nuggets of information from people like my colleague Kareem, who spent 10 years within field sales. So his negotiation skills are unbelievable. Yeah, they are really worth. I sit there and listen to it most of the time as well, which is really interesting. So ultimately, employability is built into every course. You then have on per campus your careers department. So a specialist team that is sat, for example, 2 doors down from me today, that enables you as a student to knock on the door virtually, however you see fit, to get that career support. So CV work. Your CV currently, if you're outside the UK, could be very strong, could be really, really good. Come into the UK, it's a different market. and it genuinely is a really different market. Your CV needs to replicate that if you're looking for part-time work, if you're looking for full-time work, if you decide to do the placement year, which is on offer as well, etc. It has to replicate, because ultimately you're going up against your fellow peers, your fellow students, all the students across the UK and others that are job moving. We'll also give you support within application, online test, interviews, assessments, day prep, face-to-face interviews, telephone interviews, virtual interviews. The list goes on and on and on. It enables you to jump into that support. Placement opportunities for both undergraduate and postgraduate courses within the business school. There's some more on this as we go through the slides, so I'll talk about that in a minute. We have ongoing employer talks. We have ongoing panel talks, business challenges through the business school. There's 3 careers fairs I'm currently involved in planning in the next 3 to 4 weeks, in both 2 in London, 1 in Manchester. There's workshops continually happening. The whole point here is I can go on and on and on and read this list. There's a huge amount of support, resources on offer for you as a student coming into ULBS. Not all students tap into everything, appreciate that, but ultimately understanding what is on offer and being able to cherry pick what you wish to go in, or equally dive into everything, is entirely up to you. But there's a huge amount on offer for you, and I implore anybody that comes to ULBS to dive into everything, because ultimately it gives you a better footing to be able to take that step into whichever career you wish to go into next. Next slide, please. Yep.
So then let's make it clear. With this employment promise, we are not promising any job to our prospective students, and we don't find jobs, but literally we do everything for them to get the desired job. Like this sounds really impressive, especially if one can imagine oneself as a student, and I'm imagining like, okay, so there's a platform that I can talk with industry leaders, I can talk with people that I'm perhaps interested with, and actually gaining insights before graduating from this valuable university, and having to connect with many people, creating networks for myself. It sounds really amazing. That is actually impressive. Yeah.
There's a caveat to that as well. There's no university in the UK, as far as I'm aware, and I'll put my job/mortgage on this, would offer anybody would offer a student coming into the UK, or equally a UK-based student, a job after university. No university does that. Yeah. Exactly. So we don't do that. Yeah, we don't offer jobs, we don't offer work placements. What we offer is exactly what you've just said, is all the support and all the resources around that. And the employment promise is the safety net after you've finished everything that's gone beforehand. And ultimately, we're that confident of everything that does go beforehand. So everything you can see here, plus there's a huge amount more that I don't have time to talk about, that we hope that student would then take that step into their chosen career and don't need to use the employment promise. But as I said before, it's there as a safety net. If you hit the criteria, so 80% attendance, first time passes, etc., it's there for us to then have that conversation further down the line.
That is everything a student can ask for.
Okay, great. So what we do have then on top of what is on offer as a student is us as a team here, and ultimately more is understanding of employers. So as I said before, a huge amount of our lecturers and support staff, including me, have worked elsewhere outside of higher education. So what's hot at the moment within an employer? So yesterday, or sorry, the day before, I was on 2 calls with my team and others around what's the trends in the financial market at the moment, because one of my colleagues is currently tasked with working with finance companies, and finance being finance roles. So how can we understand what that is? And the general drive at the moment from 2 of the companies who are well-known brands in the UK is very much around the student's drive. So what does a student have? Yeah, we can give them the tools, but tell them that we want them to come in with a huge amount of desire and will and drive to push their careers forward. So all of these nuggets of information and all this stuff that we talk about externally is then fed back into different platforms for the students to understand. So currently the rise of tech in the UK is huge, and across the world it's huge, as we're sat here on a call now. But equally after COVID, flexibility in the workplace, it's huge. So there's a huge amount of offerings from UK organisations now around how that works. Hybrid working is a common term now. 5 years ago, hybrid working wasn't even on the radar. And also everything else that goes with it. So these are just 5 little nuggets that we get from employers, which is fed back into the business school, first and foremost, because the business school are who you have the most contact with. But ultimately then, as an employability department, we sit there and talk about, it could be that you're looking for a job within the tech world. So what does that actually mean? But equally, what does that mean for you? What do you want? What do you want out of this job? Is it flexibility? Is it they need to have a huge diversity, inclusion, and equality policy that you are on board with, and you only want to work for these greenfield kind of organizations? Absolutely fine. This is what my team and others do, is feed the information back in. We have a panel here, the Business School Advisory Board, which is made up of 10 individuals outside of the university that work with very recognized brands that feed this into the curriculum as well. So the point here again is around the information that we're telling you. It's just not us making it up. It is genuinely from organizations that want you as a student to understand what it takes to move up in the world or into your next career path, whatever that potentially might be. Coupled that with all the offerings that we've been talking about, ULBS will then give you something to really work for throughout your 12 months or potentially 2 to 3 years with us. Next slide, please. So this here is the employability pyramid. The employability pyramid, if you come in and study with at ULBS, you will see a lot, a huge amount. This was devised through the Business Advisory Board, through senior leaders at the university, and senior leaders within organizations externally as well. All of these words that make up this wonderful pyramid ultimately around what students should be and what organizations are looking for. So what we do here, and everything which is highlighted with me at the top, i.e. you as a student, and it's then everything is then layered in from a realistic spec for you as a student to understand. So critical thinking, cultural intelligence, innovation. And what we do then is dissect these within modules and dissect these within other areas for you as a student to start gaining. It might be that you have a huge amount of these skills, but you're lacking in 10%. So how do we work on those? Or equally, it could be the flip to that. You don't have those skills yet. Well, this is where we can support and help you grow. This is from employers telling us what they want in students. Yeah. So what we're trying to do here is develop professional, work-ready global graduates. So you come out of the University of Law Business School, the world is your oyster. You step back into India, you step back into Europe, you step back and down into Brazil, wherever it potentially you are, you're ready to go. Yeah, because these are international organizations that are telling us what it is. So this pyramid is embedded throughout the curriculum at the business school, and a huge amount of the offerings that are on offer from the business school and employability team are all centered around this pyramid. It enables us to give you what you need to take those next steps. Next slide, please. So throughout our time, or my time at university, we work with a huge amount of employers. We are working continually with employers. And in fact, the email I've just got before I jumped on this call was from one of my colleagues telling me about 5 different employers who have just fed back from the placement module. And the feedback has been fantastic. Ultimately, we are trying to develop work-ready global graduates, but we're also trying to get you as a student to take the next steps. So this student was gone in on a placement. The feedback has been brilliant. In fact, this placement student, I know for a fact, has gone on to a very good job and has taken a step forward in his career. But equally, the business that we are talking about here, we've maintained the relationship. They've had a couple of placements through us now, and equally, they've also had a student who potentially may have a full-time job with them as well. Whole point is that we're building students who are work ready to step into that, whether that's a placement, part-time, or equally onto a full-time position. Next slide, please. So some of you may be on the call thinking around placements as well. Ultimately, that sits within my team, and it sits around postgraduate placements. So it's 12 months of employment within an organization of your choice. This will take place at the end of your 12-month tort. Why take a placement year? A lot of people ask that question. Some people feel as though it's a great way to embed yourself into a UK organisation, to understand that market and trend, and to give you valuable experience, potentially somewhere where you've never actually had that experience before. It obviously connects what you're studying to the business practice side and ultimately develop your skills. That's a huge part of it, developing the skills to then enhance where you want to go from an employability perspective. Ultimately, 12 months of placement on a CV when you're going for that potential job afterwards, hugely invaluable. Next slide, please. So placement is different to a graduate job. So obviously you're still part of the university, as I mentioned before. It enables us to have contact and regular contact with a placement tutor. And it's obviously a great way to commit potentially to that permanent role. The caveat to all this, though, with placements is, are placements guaranteed? And quite simply, no is the answer. We're very honest and transparent about this. There are no placement guarantees from ULBS. The student is responsible for securing their own placement, but they do have support from the placements team, the employability teams, and the business school. But just to reiterate, there are no guaranteed placements within University of Law Business School. It's hard to get one, not going to lie to you. Yeah, there is a huge amount of support here, though, to be enabled. We've got a flood of students at the moment that are in that pool of trying to get placements and are getting them as well. But equally, it's about working with the resources that we have and the resources that are on offer to be able to get that placement if you wish to go down that route. If, though, a student doesn't get a placement, because that's a realistic part to it, before the deadline, which is obviously set out when you reach the university, they will end up obviously finishing their degree within the 12 months and then changing to something called a non-placement course, which enables you then to finish your studies. So again, placements aren't guaranteed, but equally, they're a great way for you to potentially gain that valuable experience if you wished. Next slide, please. So part of the team here as well is that we have a business development element to the University of Law Business School, which is extremely hardworking. It's opening up a huge amount of interesting doors and equally allowing students to see what opportunities are out there within their chosen industry, chosen area, chosen geographical position in the UK, or equally across the UK. The remit for my guys who are doing this is very wide. I'm pretty tough with it, but we're starting to see some interesting and some very interesting opportunities come through for students. We engage with a huge amount of varieties of businesses, right through from your startups through to well-known brands. So within the UK, as example, Assets and RSM are well-known brands within the financial markets. They work closely with the business schools. This is just an example of who we are working with. They come into our students, they speak to students, they offer what they can from an information perspective, and equally allow students to tap into what there is. It's very useful for them because they get a chance to talk to current students, but equally it's hugely valuable for our students to tap into organisations that are coming face to face with you, talk about the recruitment process, and ultimately talk about what the environment is like where you potentially may want to go and work, and then how to actually get those jobs. That there is invaluable to any student, is to understand the process. So studying and getting your qualification is what you're here for, but if you don't understand how to get into your chosen job, then what are you doing it for? So ultimately, the resources and everything that's in place, along with the BD or the business development, allows students to understand that. It gives them the opportunity to explore more within a safe environment and to ask questions. There are no stupid questions when you're at university. It's about opening up and really going for it and understanding if you want to go and work at RSM, if you want to go and start your own business up because that's what passion that you have and you want to do the side hustle, fine. That's the time to start doing it, is when you're at the university. Next slide, please. So following on from that, and I touched on it earlier on, we have a huge amount of one-to-one speakers that come in. So we have in 2 weeks' time a speaker from BT, which is British Telecom, huge organisation in the UK, coming in to talk about cybersecurity. So she is a graduate on the graduate scheme. So she's coming in, or she's just actually come off the graduate scheme and gone into another role now. So she's coming in to talk about what it's like to be on that graduate scheme, what she's learned, how does she get into the role, where she's going to go within her career, within her chosen profession now, and how she can obviously, I suppose, help the students to understand what that is. On top of that, we have everything else that goes with that from the employability department. And equally on top of that, there are organizations that are coming and talk to you around your CV, your LinkedIn work, your social media presence as well. So again, it's just not us talking to you from the university. It's external individuals or companies coming in to give you advice more and more. Next slide, please.
Yes,
So,
but actually we are almost nearly at the end of the session. I see a couple of questions in the chat box.
okay.
And we will address them for sure. But before that, let me remind you that it is the perfect time to be a partner with Gas Gateway in order to work with the University of ULAW, have the opportunity to present to your students everything you just heard from Ben. And it is the perfect time because when you are waiting a student to enroll, then it may take some time for you to be approved by the Gas Gateway portal. So it is better and it is more advisable to just now head out to Gas Gateway and start creating your applications. Or if you have not yet partnered with Gas Gateway, just again head out to Gas Gateway and select to become a partner option. And since you are in the tech age, and Ben was graciously talking about the hybrid work, about technology, about the all the things that we can do. So here's the on the right side, an easy way for you to just scan the code and become a partner with ULAW University. So Ben, actually, we have very specific questions, and I don't know if you had time to check those, but one of them belongs to Alicia, and especially asking for a contact number. Will it be possible for you to share in the chat box your contact information or any email address that our agents can reach out to get more information?
Yeah, I think the next slide potentially has, I can't remember now, yeah, if it's on this one or not, but if not, I can put it into the chat. I can put in chat my email box, or equally the generic one that we use as a team, if everybody wishes, and then I can obviously pass on through to the relevant information.
Okay, that will be perfect. So the other questions are: do you have any specific question that you want to address first, Ben?
No, sorry, no. I've just got. Okay, so I'm looking at what recent statistics on geography of ULAW students placement in UK. don't quite understand that. Are we talking recent? Are we talking around geography, as in where students go within placements, i.e., what kind of roles in organisations and across geography UK? If so, I can answer that one. Ultimately, anything and everywhere is the honest answer. UK is a relatively small country, but equally has a breadth of network of industries and organisations. We as a university actually run the spine of the UK, so London, Birmingham and Manchester and other areas of the UK that we have campuses. We are extremely proud to say that throughout all those campuses, all of our students doing placement from startups, i.e. individuals that have just started their organizations, right through to global organizations. The opportunities are endless, but equally they are across the UK. So I hope that kind of answers that question. I'm not too sure if that's what they were asking, but I hope that does.
Ben, actually, we have a lot of questions, and I don't want to pick anyone. So it would be great if everyone can send their specific questions to the email address that we are going to share in a moment. And I think that is a quite to the point question, Ben. What are the hot careers for business graduates in the UK at the moment?
Cybertech.
Cybertech.
Cybertech is huge. It's absolutely, we are hanging on to it for a better word. It's like a rocket, it's gone off. Cybertech is massive. I think when and in fact, we have Joe Biden, who American president, currently in Ireland, talking about various bits and pieces. He's visiting Ireland on a national thing. It actually came up in a conversation yesterday around students in Ireland, and the question got answered, and there was a cyber security, so cybertech. So yeah, cybersecurity, data analytics, anything within that nature at the moment is really hot. But, and I always come back to this point, that's a really hot market in trend at the moment, but then all the other markets are still buoyant. So the other markets, what I mean is your typical, so your finance, your marketing, everything like that. Accounting and finance is still very, very strong. Yeah, we have huge organizations in the UK. But even down to your startups, your SMEs, right through to, they all need finance. Yeah, they all need people who understand financials. Yeah, but cybertech is very hot at the moment for careers.
Actually, that is quite an answer. Thank you for that. And for the rest of it, Ben, I have this mail address on our PPT. So do you have then any other than this? No, this one.
Yeah,
okay.
It's probably just I'm conscious. I've done this before and I get avalanched with a huge amount of stuff, and my inbox is extremely busy as it is. But if this goes to this this opportunity, this email address here, one of my team monitors the inbox along with a couple of others. She'll be able to pass it straight through, or equally actually answer any questions that potentially may come through. If not, then I can answer or support her with it. So yeah, if you do have more specific questions or wish to find out more around University Law Business School, then and obviously the employability department, then please do reach out via that email address below.
Okay, now I'm adding my email address to the chat, and if you have any questions regarding the processes, if you have any question regarding Gas Gateway, because I've seen some, you can address those questions about your partnership to me as well, so we can redirect you to the right departments. And yeah, thank you, Ben. That was a very illuminating session, and I learned a lot. I hope our participants gained insight as well. Thank you all for your time today. We hope you enjoyed this session as well. Please bear in mind, this is a series of webinars, and you have joined the second one. And we will be continuing to talk about ULAW and the lectures and the programs, and invite our seasoned professionals to our webinars for you. So watch this space. We will be here. Hope that you will also join us with the next episodes. See you at the upcoming global webinars. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.